listening to Speaking with One Voice with Rodney Payne. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, topics you'd like discussed on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. That's rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. You can also search for us on Acast, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Just look for Speaking with One Voice. Now, here's your host, Rodney Payne.
Hello and welcome to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. We are so excited to be back with you again here this week on Speaking with One Voice, the leadership podcast that is devoted to making sure you and your leaders have the best opportunity for success. We love to add value to you and your team each and every week. Let me stop and thank you real quickly for just being available to us and following us and liking our podcast, rating us, and subscribing to our podcast on the various places where you can get it on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and even YouTube. Yes, YouTube at Rodney R. Payne. You are showing up, and we are excited about continuing this journey together. Let me do this. Make sure that you stop by rodneyrpayne.com and pick up your free gift. I want you to sign up. I've got some new things coming up. And if you'll go there and get your free gift, moving the needle in your organization, it'll get you into our ecosystem and we can be able to communicate with you. And we want to make sure that we are staying connected. We specialize in one-to-one coaching, group coaching, and strategic planning. So if we can be of assistance to you, by all means, reach out to us on any of our digital platforms at Rodney R. Payne. That's where you can find us, at Rodney R. Payne. Now, today, I want to talk to you in an area that really is a personal area for me. And I really believe that every leader needs to really get a hold of this. This is something, quite frankly, I wish I'd learned much earlier in my career and tried to figure this out much earlier. But as they say, better late than never. I want to talk to you today about mastering self-care. Mastering self-care. Now listen. Most leaders are overwhelmed, they're overworked, they're under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and it seems like everything starts and stops with you, and there are no breaks, and it's always go, and everyone is dependent upon you. And so there's a great amount of pressure externally that begins to push and lean into you, and everyone is pulling at you and making demands upon your time. But what about if we think about for a minute the internal pressure you put on yourself? You can't let anyone down. You always have to show up. You in order to get ahead, you've got to sacrifice. You've been told there's no easy way to success, and I get it, because one of my favorite sayings is I found the cheat code for success. And what is the cheat code? It's hard work. With that in mind, you need to, I need to, we need to master self-care. First of all, what is self-care? Step one, I want to give you about 5 things today. Number one is I want you to learn to understand self-care. Self-care is literally self-explanatory just in the name. It's where you take intentional time to care for yourself in every area, in your mind, in your body, your spiritual side. Every part of you needs intentional care. So when we look at self-care, we're not just talking about rest. Although rest is a part of it, it's not as simple as resting or getting some sleep. Self-care is going to be very intentional in finding a way to give yourself whatever care you need that positions you to be your best. One of the commitments I made to you earlier this year was that I was going to commit to caring for myself at a deeper level so that I could always give you my best. I want to always give you my best. And so showing up in a less than optimal state does not do you any good, because you're not getting the best of me. So I really want you to understand this thing called self-care. It's where you prioritize yourself. It's where you decide that you're going to meet your needs. You cannot effectively meet the needs of others when you aren't able to meet your own needs. So I really want us to dig into this thing and understand that self-care is required. It's a must. It's not optional. Self-care is your responsibility. It's up to you to decide to take care of yourself, not others. You have to make that decision. And self-care is an investment. So it's also going to be where when you take care of yourself, it's going to pay off later. So step one is to understand self-care. Now let's dig a little deeper. And in order to really deal with this self-care and mastering self-care, I want you to think about it this way. You need to truly identify your personal needs. Identify your personal needs. See, I could give you a list of things that qualify as self care, but none of them may align with the needs that you have personally. See, part of self-care is knowing yourself. That's why it's very difficult for others to take care of you. For one person, a vacation may be self-care, whereas another person, a vacation may increase stress. So, in order to grow yourself, you have to know yourself, as John Maxwell says. So, understanding my own personal needs. I am a person who serves people all the time. I'm a person of value. I add value to others and I value others. So when you look at my life brings fulfillment to me as I serve others. But what are my unique needs? I had to learn how to, one is I have to put a period on my day. I have to end the day. I cannot take my work life or my entrepreneurial life, my requirements of my spiritual life and other areas of my life. I can't take that to bed with me. I have to end my day and then end my day. So when I go to sleep, I don't have time to check email before I go to sleep and have my mind running all over the place. I have a decompression process is going to help me. And we're going to talk more about that in just a moment. But what I need is I'm going to need time to rest. I need time to disconnect, time to not focus on everybody else. But I can't have too much time. So it's important that you understand what can lead you to burnout. Sometimes our schedule, while it's always in our control, we can say yes or we can say no. But when we have certain opportunities and we're building a business and you get a great opportunity after a great opportunity after a great opportunity, what happens is your life begins to pile up or have a traffic jam, if you will. So when you're looking at your personal needs, one might be that you need to be more disciplined in your organization leading up to opportunities and events. So when you understand self-care, you understand you got to really get out there and explore what it means for you to take care of yourself and that you're worth the investment, you're worth the process. But then what do you need personally? Personally, think about it. It can't be what works for someone else. For what works for one person may be stressful for another. I know I have buddies who go on all guys golf trips and they hang out for several days and they have a good time. I enjoy golf and I do, but a trip like that is not necessarily self care for me because I want to be engaged in the conversation. I want to hang out, and quite frankly, I come back from a trip like that more fatigued than I was before I left. While it's a great opportunity to have a good time and add some balance in meeting needs in areas of my life, it may not necessarily qualify as self care for me. Well, I've got a couple of buddies locally. If we go play golf with a twosome or a threesome with some very, very dear friends to me, that becomes self care. There's no obligation. There's no requirement to hear the fish stories or golf stories, if you will. So it depends on you and how you function to know what burnout is. What I found out in my personal needs, I need regular intervals. I can't just go until I burn out and then try to get refreshed. I've got to do something ongoing that keeps me in the right place. I've got to make sure that I'm sensitive to my body, to my mind, to identify when I'm working. So these things are all important to me as I identify my own personal needs. So first, you got to understand self-care is necessary. It's required. It's responsible. It's an investment. Then you have to understand and identify your own personal needs. What works for you as self-care? Now, let's get a little bit deeper in the identifying your personal needs, and let's go to creating a self-care routine. Now, here's the thing. Your self-care routine falls right into your personal needs. It has to be personalized, but it must also be sustainable. You've got to find a way to do this on a regular basis. So you can't overcommit. You can't have some great big routine that you can't afford financially or that you don't have the time to do. So you want to be really, really thoughtful and take an introspective look at yourself and decide what works for a routine. Now, I'm going to give you parts of my routine, not that you should duplicate or reproduce this as your routine, but that you should use this as an exemplar or a model as to how you could develop what works best for you. So, for me, my routine of self care, it starts with my spiritual and my physical, and it also lends itself to my mental, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So I'm going to get up every day early in the morning. And by early, I mean in the 5:30, 6 o'clock range. And I'm going to work out. I'm going to do my devotional. And that's where I'm going to clear my mind. This is going to hit several areas for me. One is it helps me to meet the emotional need of being physically healthy. Did you hear that? The emotional need of being physically healthy. I have to do that so that I can feel good about myself and make sure that I've made some accomplishments. I start early in the morning because I am a morning person. I start early in the morning because that's what works best for me. And I find that if I get my day off to a good start, it gives me more control of the direction and the trajectory of my day. So when my self-care routine, it starts with a daily investment in my physical, in my mental, in my spiritual, by my workout time, my devotion time that happens early in the morning. My self-care routine also includes, aside from working out, I do some physical therapy type things. I do some personal therapy. I do massages. I do chiropractic care to keep my body in a line. This is also a personal care. I take Epsom salt bath. I know this is more than you want to know, but the thing is these are things that whenever I'm in these places, it's all about me and me being comfortable and me taking care of myself so that I can be my best. And these are things that I do on a regular basis, not every day. Now, the everyday thing is the workout. That's the everyday. The devotionals every day. These other things are going to be either weekly or monthly or bi-weekly, but there is a routine. It's sustainable. It's something that I can do and fit into my care of my life every single day. In doing that, it makes me better. Now, you have to learn to value yourself, my friend. You've got to decide that you are worth taking care of. Here you are trying to give extra and 110%, but you never refresh and you never refill. And when you never refresh and never refill, what you do is dilute your effectiveness. You dilute your capacity. So what I could get from you would be, say, on a level 9 or 10, you're only giving me a 6 or a 7 because you're burning out, because you're not taking care of yourself. You've got to learn to take care of yourself. And this is something you can increase your longevity. Let's think about LeBron James. Now, I saw an interview with him recently, and he kind of discredited this. He didn't say it was this much, but there were reports going on that he spends $1 million per year taking care of his body. Now, he said he doesn't know where that number came from, but he also didn't give a number. I heard someone else who was asked a very similar question: are you like LeBron and spend $1 million? They said, no, I don't spend $1 million, but I do spend $500 to $700,000. Now, these are professional athletes who make just ridiculous amounts of money, but it's all relative. What they know is in order to play the game of basketball at the professional level for 20 years, as LeBron James has done, it requires the right kind of diet, the right kind of rest, the right kind of workouts, the right kind of routine, the right kind of team around you. And that's an investment. When you decide that at your level, you have a certain budget and whatever, but you decide I'm going to spend X number of dollars to take care of myself from my mind, my enrichment self. You've got to create a routine for yourself that's sustainable. I had to find plans with certain uh, professionals and healthcare professionals, and I've got a team that I work with medically. I've got a team that I work with that deals with my coaching and helping me to keep my mind engaged in what's going on and how to have the best techniques. I have a routine of conferences and things that I go to on an annual basis to actually make sure that I'm the best I can be for you. So a self-care routine is a panoramic 360 view for me. And I now I don't have $1 million to spend on myself and my health and wellness and my self-care, but I do make an investment in myself, and I don't sell myself short and say that I can't afford it. What I know is I can't afford not to take care of myself. That's what I want us to understand. Listen, you are listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Today, we're talking about mastering self-care. I want you to make up in your mind that you deserve the best care possible. And as an aside, real quickly, let me speak to the men real quickly for just a moment. Ladies, pardon me. Men, go to your doctor. Go check on yourself. Go to your annual checkups. Go to the dentist. Listen, make it a part of your routine to take care of yourself. Stop putting it off. Let's get on top of our health care and let's be proactive and make sure that we're maximizing who we are. That's a part of self-care, my friends. I didn't mean to exclude the ladies. I just know that they do a better job of this than most men. But ma'am, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not going to the doctor, I need you to get that done. I want you to master self-care. So we've talked about 3 techniques so far. First of all, we understand self-care is necessary. It's a requirement. It's a responsibility. And we also understand it to be an investment. We talked about identifying our personal needs. What do you need to take care of yourself? What's part of your personal health care, mental care, whatever? What do you need? Then we talked about getting more specific in creating a self-care routine. These are things that we do routinely, and I am on my routine. And then number 4, I want you to integrate mindfulness practices. Uh, when we say mindfulness, you have to think, and you have to think yourself clear, and you have to be stress free in order to think yourself clear. So how do I exercise my mind? How do I keep my mind in tune, my mind alert? How do I stay focused in taking care of those things in my mind? This is a personal journey, much like everything else. One of the things that I do is I set aside some time just for thinking, meditating, clearing my mental space. There's a concept that we've been working with here at One Voice Leadership, and it's called emotional real estate. Emotional real estate is really the practice of developing control over my limited emotional real estate. I only have so much to give. So what that means is it's real estate that I own, and I get to determine who gets to infringe upon my emotional real estate. I don't allow external places to come and hang out and set my thermostat. I cannot be a thermometer and simply take the temperature and respond, but I must be a thermostat and set the temperature for my own mind. That's what I want you guys to look at. So when you're working on being the best version of yourself, you have got to have a place where you can be clear in your mind, edified and built up in your mind, where you can be depositing and investing into your mind. This is very, very significant. You have to have a place to think. Let me talk to those who are caught up in what I call the paralysis of analysis. You know who you are. You're my overthinkers. Yeah, and everything you think. Oftentimes you think so much you don't ever act. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a parking lot for your thoughts. And in that parking lot, that will be a literal list of things that you have to consider. Now, give yourself parking lot breaks, mental parking lot breaks, where I'm going to think for an hour on this day, 30 minutes on this day, 20 minutes on this day. And in that time, go to your list and contemplate those things, right? And what will happen is that will clear other mental capacity for you. So how that works in mindfulness is that it's going to take something that's been burdening you down and worrying you. Now you can give it its attention without overthinking, and then clearing up and freeing your space for your mindfulness in other areas. So I want you to think about it that way, is that when you give it the attention that it needs and deserves, but you limit yourself to a certain amount of time, what's going to happen is at that point, now you'll be able to think clearly in other situations. Listen, I've got one more I want to share with you that's going to be critical, but we're talking about mastering self-care, understanding self-care, identifying your personal needs, creating a self-care routine, integrating mindfulness practices, meditation, thought development, clarity, and moving things out of the way so that you can think. And then finally, we want to build a supportive community. You have to have people around you to help to hold you accountable. It's even okay to tell people what your plan is so they can ask you questions about how are you doing. I know you said you intend to take one day off per week. How is that coming? What are you doing on that day off? How are you spending that time? I know you said you were going to take a 1 day getaway once a month, a 2 or 3 day getaway quarterly, and a vacation annually. How are you doing with that? Are you leaving your laptop at home when you go on vacation? What are you doing? When you build a supportive community, a couple of things happen. One is they begin to recognize when you're overwhelmed. They recognize when you need a break. They recognize when you're not taking care of yourself. But two is when they're a part of your community, you authorize them to ask you and to hold you accountable to what you said you would do for yourself. So I really want to, let me just close with this. I recently came off, I haven't come off of it, to be honest. I'm in the middle of about a 90-day stretch of overwhelm, busyness, back to back, just going. My schedule is, and I am fortunate. I've worked very hard to make sure that I have opportunities to speak and opportunities to share and this all of these things are things that I ask for, but now I've gotten them and they can be overwhelming. But just this week, I made sure I did exactly what I told myself I would do in my self-care routine. I took a day and took care of myself, did absolutely no work. There are people pulling on me, but I knew that I was at the end of my energy cycle and I had to refresh and renew. So I put my self-care first. I had to fight the guilt of feeling like I was letting somebody down. I had to fight the thoughts that I got work to be doing. I had to fight the thoughts to think about work. But I told myself in this space, we're going to work on mindfulness practices that get our mind back together. We're going to do our body. We're going to do our thoughts. We're going to do everything about what it takes for us to get back the strength we need. And when I came back into work, let me tell you, I was full of energy, focus, and fire. I know it's hard to tell yourself to sit down. I know it's hard to tell yourself to take care of yourself. You take care of others, and you even encourage others to take care of themselves. My friend, my leader, my entrepreneur, you are worth taking care of. It's your job. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself. Let's hop on this self-care journey and let's master it. Get to your regular doctor, get to your care team, get to things that relieve stress in your life. Get the things that allow you to have a little fun time, a little time to go out and do a hobby or something. Get outside, get in the sun, get some vitamin D, take a walk. But whatever you do, my friend, I want you to take care of yourself, because if you master self-care, you're going to improve productivity, you're going to improve efficiency, and you're going to extend your effectiveness and the time you get to do what you love to do. Listen, it has been my pleasure, as always, to hang out with you here on Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach. So what I want you to do is I want you to take some time, implement these things. Make sure you're following us on social media at Rodney R. Payne. Make sure you're liking these posts and these videos and our podcast, and go over to our YouTube channel. I need your help. Let's get this YouTube channel off the ground. I'm counting on you. Go subscribe, turn your notifications on, and you can watch us each and every week on Speaking with One Voice. So listen, you're worth it. You deserve to see the best version of yourself. You deserve to experience the best version of yourself. And listen, if you're going to help me, I want the best version of you as well. So let's do this thing together. Listen, you've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Until next time, let's keep growing together.
You've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. Please remember to follow Rodney Payne on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Rodney R. Payne. We'd love to hear from you and get your feedback, so please feel free to leave us comments. And if you would, rate and subscribe to the podcast, we'd appreciate that as well. Don't forget to set up for notifications so you can get the latest updates and social media posts and get new podcasts when they're released. As always, use the hashtag Speaking with One Voice or simply SWOV on any of your social media posts.